Here she comes. Here she comes. Bad weather day today in Melbourne. Freezing cold, lots of rain, snow up on the hills, and today it's video number...
It is so cold. Video number 38, everybody.
Lucky Chinese number.
Yes, it's a combination of both our birthdays.
Yes.
3 and 8.
Yes.
Anyway, today we are covering
about?
the controversial topic. Thank you to Jen out there who asked me a question about teenagers. So we're going to be talking about teenagers and having children and that sort of stuff. And it's an interesting one because we've got teenagers and Zoe's still at school. It's tricky because, you know, her friends, hello out there who watch.
Teenagers.
Especially titled teenagers. It's tricky because, you know, you don't want us to talk about everything, you know, it's her life as well. So I will be giving you an overview. But
the thing about teenagers is they forget that their parents were once teenagers.
Yeah.
And that their parents have actually done everything usually that they've done. And they're very wise to it, but it's the connection between the parent and the teen trying to understand. Some parents like wipe their hands of it and don't want to know about it.
The thing I find frustrating is when you say, I know I sound really old telling you this, but, you know, like it might be something we've learnt, like, you know, don't do this or don't do that. I know I sound really old. Or...
Well, the implication of criminal record. For instance, you might do something dumb, get in a car, drive without a license, crash it. You know, we've had friends that are close to us, their kids have gone out, driven a car, been under the influence of alcohol, been unlicensed, smashed the car, been pulled over by the cops, been to court, got a criminal record. Now, do you know what the implication of that is? They don't think about that when they're 17 years of age and they're doing speeding down the street, but criminal record, can't be a politician, can't be a director of a public company. Boom, ruled yourself out of all of that.
But even like today at the gym, I went and did spin this morning, and I was explaining to the girls why I left a class the other day because the music was too loud. Now, I know I sound really old saying that, and I was explaining to the girls, I said, look, I know I sound really old saying this, and I could tell they were like ready to roll their eyes, really. And I explained to them how every time you get ringing in your ears, that is permanent ear damage, and we know that because Paul has experienced that.
Well,
and the doctor told him.
You can only get so many, so it's cumulative. So I used to play in a band when I was younger, guitar, and I used to stand right beside the amp and all the shrilling notes. And then I used to go to concerts and that night have ringing ears, wake up and the next morning my ears would still be ringing. And then about 18 months ago I went to a party and there was these loudspeakers and I said to Megan, I want to go. My ears were vibrating and Megan said, oh, you know, come on, you know, stay out a bit later, you know, all the normal stuff.
I have taken the blame
and
for
the
these
speakers,
ringing ears, even though he just explained to you it's
you know what, I ended up going to the doctor, you know, I got it all the time. You know, my ears ring all the time. It's not reversible. So Megan learnt that and she left the class. Because
I'm not damaging my ears.
The ear, nose and throat guy told me, or the ear guy told me, that it's cumulative, that you can only handle so many, but you don't think about that as a teenager, but no one tells you until it's too late.
And teenagers really don't want to hear that stuff.
So the first thing is that what we do with Max and Zoe, and I've said this openly to Max and Zoe, and all you other teenagers that watch out there, we try not to say no, I don't say, Zoe, you can do this or you can't do this.
True.
I say, if I can teach you by all the mistakes I made of things that I wished I had not done and I wished I had done, and in fact it's effectively like a mentoring. So you take someone under your wing and say, no, I did that and this is what went wrong. I did that, this is what went wrong. If you can have the benefit of the mistakes I made, I say to her openly, how much smarter? She does listen,
but not all kids do.
How much smarter will you be?
Yeah, she does actually pay attention to that.
So you take someone's lifespan, and in Australia you live, I heard today, 82 years of age is the average lifespan.
82?
So if there's a period of 5 or 10 years that you just burn, trashing yourself, going to parties, you know, drunk at nights, drugs, lack of focus, not working, you know, all these sorts of things, trashing your body. If you can learn from someone, how much smarter are you?
Yeah. That's
the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, but we're saying this is in our 40s and you're 50.
Yeah, but do you know what? If I've had people come to me and want me to mentor them, and I've been happy to do that, and I've given advice, and then in some instances they haven't taken the advice that I've given, so you know what I said? It's no good.
Yeah.
It's no good mentoring you anymore.
Well, that's right. Because they don't really want that.
You don't want to take my advice.
I wonder what they do want. They want to skip all the years and just be you straight away. Is that what they want?
I don't know.
They want you to give them like some magic spell and they're suddenly, you know, having their own company. Anyway, let's answer Nina's question. Hello, Nina. We had lunch with Nina today and it was lovely. And Christine and the baby Noah. It was fun, wasn't it?
I'm going to check on you, Nina.
Yeah, Paul gave Nina some superannuation advice. That's Paul's favourite topic, everyone.
Yeah.
And so we should do a whole video on that one day.
Yeah.
Except I wouldn't know what to say.
Don't worry, that'd be a video that you could shut up.
You could just do it on your own, maybe.
Oh, no.
You know what? I reckon that could be a Paul video.
No. It would be nice just to have you sitting there making the screen look good.
That's nice. Anyway.
Come on.
Anyway, so you'll see a bit of a video of our lunch with the girls and the baby. Thanks for that. That would have been really good if you'd done that.
What's Nina's question?
Everyone wants to see you stripping now after the last video.
You have to wait.
That is so funny that you guys... it really amuses me what you guys tell us you love the most. Now he's going to do it. What are you doing?
No, just keep going. What's Nina's question?
Oh, you're saying if... Very funny. Okay, Nina said, great topic. How do you find the balance between loving and overprotecting? And is it actually you or them who determine these boundaries? Okay, our kids are especially good because we've done lots of stuff with them. We've gone on lots of holidays and we've spent a lot of time with them.
We spend a lot of time with them. So here's it's no good saying to your kids, you can't drink. Because the kids then want to drink. It's like wet paint. So here always, when
I do, however, say you can't do drugs.
Yes, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
However, if Zoe wants a champagne or a dessert wine or whatever, she wants a sip of my beer, no problem.
Yeah.
And so it's demyth. If she knows she can go to the fridge and get a drink and drink
But she can't just do that every night.
No.
Like, we wouldn't just go, oh yeah, sure, so I have a glass of wine for dinner every day.
It takes the excitement out of it when you can have it.
Yeah, and I've also said to Zoe, you know, like, everyone has been at a party where there's been someone being sick, you know, the girl who's the one who always throws up and she's crying and there's all those dramas, you know, like those teenage
Has that been you?
I have been known to have been sick in my late teens, yes. I think you would have too, Mr. Cointreau in Tahiti.
Well, that was actually...
Yes, exactly.
That was a pretty funny night, actually.
Yes. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Yes, exactly. So look...
Go on religious on me.
Exactly. Look, we all know about doing that and how it looks. How embarrassed are you about that night and how embarrassed... You know how you would have looked.
I know the night.
I was not there.
The bot.
No, I wasn't. No, God, I wasn't even going to bring up specific examples. No, I'm just sort of saying... What I say to Zoe is you don't want to be that girl who's throwing up and everyone's going, oh my God, look at Zoe, or that sort of thing.
So we say to Zoe, you know what, have a couple of drinks, have it in your hand and then observe what's going on.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah.
And
she's sporty and aware of health and I think she's more conscious of, I think she's conscious and present in her life.
There was another article in the paper today that said your weight is determined, it was in the Age, I'm pretty sure the Age or the Herald Sun, your weight is determined by the time you reach puberty.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole article about it, and the professor saying that
there'll be someone out there who tells us a story about.
I'm only the messenger. I'm only the messenger. I'm just relaying the article. And the article.
Why? Because your fat cells form a certain size.
Your body is always thinking there's a primeval. There's a famine around the corner, and that you're storing, and so therefore. If you are overweight as you enter puberty, that can set the pattern for the rest of your life.
Really?
Well, that's what the article said. That's not what I'm saying.
That's so interesting.
And it seemed to be well researched. It was an interesting article.
That's very interesting.
I just want to check the video because I think it's about to shut down.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I can see Karen and Nina.
Okay.
Who else can I see?
What's the question?
I was doing my romper room thing.
What's the question?
Okay, I want to tell one more story first. Okay, so here's the story about between loving and overprotecting. When I broke my leg a couple of years ago, I was in that overprotective zone. How many years ago is that? 2006 it was.
Pick the kids up, take them to school, wrap them in cotton wool, all of that. So
I was too scared to let them drive and go on the tram by
Megan
themselves.
had a cast on her leg, and then she couldn't drive, and I always had to pick. I didn't have time, so I came home one night a bit early. I got home at 5 o'clock, and I said, "Hey kids, come with me." They go, "Where are we going, Dad?" Megan goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "Don't worry about it." So they come
he
with me.
knew I'd be
So I walked down
petrified.
the end of the street and got on the tram. Well, I hadn't been on a tram since I could remember, and I had to put money in zone 1.
And it's
so
only
I
like
teach the
right
kids
down the road, yeah.
how to put the money in. I taught them how to be extremely careful crossing the road because cars never stop.
Yep.
Watch that, get on the tram, go down the other end. Here's school. When you catch at the other end, come back. Next day, kids catch the tram. Megan's panicking. However, they were fine.
And I had a new lease on life. Like it was like I didn't have to be at the school anymore at 3 o'clock.
We were at Noosa Heads and the kids were maybe 5, 6.
Yeah, this was
and
a big deal.
They used to go down to a store called Go Bananas, and everyone who knows Noosa probably knows that Go, and it's got little kids stuff in it.
Yeah.
And there's a pedestrian crossing.
Maybe a little bit older.
Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, we let the kids go by themselves and they crossed the pedestrian. We showed them how to do it.
I think they might have been about 8.
Or whatever, and they came back. And so...
But we were on the phone to them, I think.
We just kept giving them a bit more and a bit more.
Yeah.
Because you can't wrap them in cotton wool because they've got to experience real
life. And they
life.
felt such a sense of achievement to have gotten to the shop and back, even though it was only like 100 metres, if that. And we were on the phone to them, don't you remember? I remember being on the phone and Max having the phone, or Zoe, and
So the kids have to grow. And the kids have to make their own choices.
And Nina's are so little at the moment, you're about to get into
And, yes, what I think, to parent and say, don't you do that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's wet paint.
But I do think that we say, don't you do that about smoking and tattoos and drugs.
But we give reasons behind that, and that's part of the mentoring process because firsthand you show them exactly what happens.
Exactly.
And so
I've always talked to the kids about drugs because we've got a few like close experiences with that we share with the kids.
And there it is. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So see for yourself. This is choices and consequences, actions and consequences.
Yeah.
You make this decision. This is the implication.
I'm coming up to a really good part too.
So what we did with the kids in this cruel to be kind thing, we said to the kids, they're on a performance base. Because that's my whole life, performance based. And
I think they would have done this anyway, however.
And they're on a bonus each age 21, because 21 is probably a critical age because you really can do everything you want. You can pretty much do it at 18.
Yeah.
However, if the kids are programmed to function properly in society at age 21, it's unlikely they'll go off the rails, my opinion. So no drugs, no smoking, no tattoos. By age 21, they get a bonus, and Max is hanging out for years. He's 21 next year.
And one of our babysitters told us about that, and she was given just a little financial bonus. And you know what? I reckon that'll be worth every cent. Yeah. And it kept her honest. Like, you've got to have that honesty too. It makes the kids, accountable to you. And look, the truth of the matter is, if Zoe went and smoked a cigarette, I would not know. Oh, well, I probably would because she'd have that breath and all that in her hair and everything. But she hates it anyway. She hates cigarettes, doesn't she?
Yeah. She enjoys being fit. I can hear her up in the shower singing away.
Can you hear her singing?
She likes rowing. She likes running. She likes exercise. She enjoys all that. Yeah. She embodies the temple. Yeah. And maybe that's part of the example that we set because we're fairly...
because we
busy
do
exercising, and that they see us exercise because you become a product of your environment.
Yeah.
And so for them, it's normal to do daily exercise.
Yeah. This is that necklace I was making. Remember I said I was making it to wear the Oprah thing? So there's the little O that we got from Sydney when Oprah came to Sydney. That's my new necklace. Just thought I'd share that as a bit of...
So cruel to be kind, Nina. I think that as the time is right, you've got to let the kids go and let them do a few more things. Max is going overseas next week on his own.
I know.
He'll have a ball. He's right. I've got no problems. He knows what to do. When he started driving, of course, getting 120 hours up, I'm up to 116 and a half with Zoe, so she's got 3.5 to go and she can go for a licence soon.
All right, I'm going to go to the next question.
So next question is?
Claire, this is a comment from Claire, but I thought it was nice. She said she's raised her kids, they're grown up now. My kids were all, they were all a part of the flying fruit circus. So Claire thinks that if you give them something that they love to do and keep them occupied within that, like Zoe loves dancing and singing and rowing and everything.
Yeah. Max
loves tennis. Sport. So when you get them involved in something they love and they look forward to, their time's filled in.
They're not looking for trouble.
Yeah. Teach, and then she's got to teach them also to be independent and responsible for who they are. We have to be able to step back as parents and let them be no matter how hard that is, which is exactly what we just illustrated with that tram story, because that was hard for me, wasn't it? I really was
but there was no problem. You know what? Show them the alarm, get the kids the keys, they turn the alarm on, they lock the house.
It was fabulous though. Then I didn't have to pick them up at 3
o'clock. liberated.
Absolutely.
So next question.
Okay, Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin. He's 19, so he's interested in this.
He's a teenager.
He's talking about teenage pregnancy. And he said that he's in Texas, and he said in Texas there's a really high rate of teenage pregnancy. And he says, why do you believe teenage pregnancy would be more common? Here's what I think.
Well, it's called estrogen and testosterone and the pleasure of sex.
I think that it is becoming too familiar and free. I think kids just treat it like kissing. I do. I think that it's taken too simply, and I don't think it should be like that. I think it's
upstairs and have a kiss.
I think it is here's what I think, and you can all make your own decisions, but I think that when people have sex for the first time, are you saying I'm a square?
No, I'm just stirring you up. There you go, I like what you say. Come on, I'm only stirring you. Take it, Joe. Come on.
I think that when kids or teenagers or young adults choose to have sex for the first time, it should be with someone that they love. It should not be, as I said on the Oprah show, in the backyard of a party with some stranger they don't know or some boy they've seen at school. It should be special. It should be, you know, I'm not going to say to Zoe or about what she can do, but I'd like her to make a good choice.
She will.
Yeah.
She'll work it out for herself.
So
you're not going to be there supervising, no. So don't worry about it.
Thank goodness.
You think you've given her enough education to make her own decision.
But I think that that's why kids are getting pregnant, because so many younger people are having sex at an earlier age.
So we've talked to Zoe about this and the implication and the fertility. And the fact is, if this is the choice you make, this is what happens to your life. And we've shown to people who are friends of the family or acquaintances, so on and so forth, where that's what's happened. You can have a look and see how your life's turned out.
Yeah.
And then that's their choice.
A lot of younger girls who do venture into that world earlier, perhaps are looking for something that they haven't had, you know, they haven't had a lot of family time, or they haven't had like a strong male person in their life. That's, you know, factual stuff that they say that people who do get into that earlier have as much time with their parents or their dads or whatever. Do you think teenagers aren't educated? Is there a problem with teenage pregnancy in Australia? I think everywhere there's teenage pregnancy, but we don't seem to look. You know what? I don't know. I don't think there's been anyone at Max and Zoe's school. Well, I mean, I'm sure there has been, but not while we've been there, or not that we know of. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's been taken care of. Who knows?
It's everywhere. It's not isolated, and because the temptation, because sex is good. You know, it feels good.
And the thing is, here's the deal, Kelvin.
It's like overeating, isn't it? It's you know, if it tastes good, you want a bit more.
Here's the deal. I think that you can't control anyone else but yourself, Kelvin. So you have to make your decision about what you want to do. And as a male, you need to be thinking that the girl could get pregnant. So you have to be responsible. It's not just the girl's job to make sure that there's protection. It's up to the men as well, and to understand that, gosh, you're changing your whole life. If there's a teen pregnancy, let's say, Kelvin, that this was you and you got a girl pregnant, then you don't stay with that girl and she chooses to have the baby, then you've got a baby already. And not that that is bad, because I'm sure there's lots of people out there who've had this experience and they're like, fine, but it just changes your life, doesn't it?
It wasn't a conscious choice.
Yes. That's right. It would be really nice if all babies came into the world with conscious choices, you know, outside of a union with a partner.
What's the next question?
And I'm not saying everyone has to be married or everyone has to have a partner. You know, that's everyone's individual choice. Tarkan says...
Tarkan.
Actually, just to get off the topic for one quick second, because a friend of mine out there, Les Lazarus, asked me, and this is completely off topic, but I am only remembering now, and if I don't answer his question now, I will forget. He asked me, do we tip in Australia? Because he has heard we don't. Well, no, we don't, really.
Don't have to. Not expected. Get your hair cut, hairdresser, you don't have to tip even in a restaurant because they're paid. You don't have to. Not expected. If
we were going to tip in Australia, which Paul and I do, we would tip 10% at a restaurant. But you never tip your hairdresser, or you might give the taxi driver a little bit of extra change, but you do not have to. Or any services. I know in the States, you know, when you have your hair cut, your nails done, blah, 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 there's always tipping involved.
It's a different culture.
So there you are, Les. You can now move to Australia and not have to tip.
In America, they've outsourced the cost of the staff to the customer, and in Australia, it's on the employer.
In Australia, we pay them more.
That's right.
That's why that happens.
So the next question.
So there you are, Les. I would like acknowledgement that you have heard my question. Thank you.
Next question.
He will. He's a smart ass. He writes funny comments. I like his comments. Tarkin says, hey, Megan and Paul, can you guys do a little happy Irish jig?
Maybe.
Go on.
No.
When are you going to do it?
Keep going. Next question.
At
Well,
the
it's got to
end.
be random, doesn't it? Otherwise, it's not
Also,
fun.
seeing your kids grow up. Okay, he wants to know, do we think that we could have told our kids' personalities under the age of 2?
No. Because they're growing and changing all the time, and I think probably by the time they get to 18, 19, 20, 21, then you...
I mean, Max was counting to 20 in about 5 languages. Now he doesn't like languages at all.
There is that series 7 Up, Show Me the Boy at 7.
Yeah.
And they did a series where they filmed them at 7, 14, 21,
yeah,
28.
I love that show.
And it actually, they run it all the way through.
Yeah.
However, from...
I don't think it's 2.
No.
I mean, they're all doing cute little things and they're all learning and they're learning to talk. And everybody thinks their baby is a genius at 2, don't they? You know, they're out of the range. What's that word that they have?
Percentile.
The
We're
percentile.
in the 99 percentile.
Yeah, because they're tall or they're this or that. Yeah,
weight.
I remember saying all that.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. Then we've got, hi, Kerry. Kerry just said we were opening a minefield talking about this today. I don't think so. I think it's interesting, don't you?
We're in the middle of experiencing it right now, having 2. And so far, so good.
Sylvia said she's got a baby girl. Sylvia is just a new friend on Facebook. She wrote me a really lovely letter. I'm looking forward to getting to know her more.
Where's Sylvia come from?
She's from Canada originally and now she lives in Melbourne.
My dad's from Canada.
Yeah.
Got a Canadian passport.
So she's got a baby and she wants to know how she can be the best mother in this crazy, demanding society. Can I answer this first?
No.
Aside from protectiveness, independence, love, care, financial responsibility, what else? Here's what I think. I think that if you can offer your kids lots of experiences, like, okay, if you can't afford swimming lessons, then take them down to the local pool and teach them yourself how to swim or do stuff like that.
Do you know what I used to do with the kids?
What?
Go to the market shopping. I still go to the market.
Yeah.
So I take the kids when they were like 2, 3, and particularly in summer when there's peach, pears, nectarines, and watermelon and all that. And of course the guys at the market would always, and I'd say Max and Zoe, smell it, so they could smell the good one. And then the guy would cut a slice off or a wedge out and taste it, and I'd ask them, did it taste good? And so after a few visits, they soon knew which were the nectarines, pears, apricots, the ones that were tasting good. And you know what? That was experience.
Yeah, and I think...
we do things together.
And I've always had, I mean, you all know I have taco nuts, but we have lots of adult friends over here. So the kids have always grown up knowing how to talk to adults and everything, and, you know, the please and thank you. I'm very insistent on manners.
And we have lots of rituals, like sacrosanct is the birthday, and there's always a birthday cake and friends. And we do things together.
But I think manners is important. You just skipped over that.
Oh, no. That's...
I think it's really important. And you know what else? Here's what I think a good mother should do. A good mother, when she takes her children over to somebody's house, should make sure that those children do not run rampant through their friend's house and touch the windows and the remote controls and put their feet on the chairs and eat food running around the house. Because some people find it hard to tell the other, you know, like, okay, let's say someone came here. I had a girlfriend here this week and her little girl was really good because she was onto it. And she was like full of beans and, you know, smiley and running around, but she was totally... It was my girlfriend Nikki, so I'll just say name. So Nikki had her under control and she said, no, I want you to sit here or I want you to do that, let's do this. And she gave us some choices and that is what I used to do too. And I think it's important because otherwise, if you go to someone's house with your kids and they're running around touching all the remote controls and going crazy while you're having a glass of wine or something, you are never going to be invited back again. Especially if those people have gone through the child days. Like, we're child free now. Don't you agree?
Yeah. But you see, the other thing is the kids have always got to feel safe at home.
Well, that wasn't even related to what I was talking about.
No, I know all that, but they've got all that. You see, home is safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Home is safe.
Yes, home is safe.
And
yes, that is nice,
you know,
actually, that's true.
Max said a funny thing the other day. We were talking about going to bed or something, and Max said, when we were young, Dad, all the other kids in class were going to bed at 8:30 and you were making us go to bed at 7:30 and you
Max still likes to go to bed early.
And you were the law.
Yeah.
You set down the law.
Yeah.
But, you know, if the kids were too tired in the morning, they'd be grumpy and it was hopeless. So
and you set a routine for your kids when they're little. Like Max and Zoe both used to sleep between 12 and 3 every day, which is when I painted my plates. I loved it, having those 3 hours.
When they were littlies.
Yeah, so, but a lot of these people have got babies.
So the question is how to be a good parent. So obviously predictability. I think if you're erratic with the kids, that's hard. So you've got to be predictable.
Yeah.
And predictable, always on the level. And lots of things together. We do lots of things together.
Yeah,
and,
we do. We do.
Spending time and holidays and all available moments, and we actually enjoy it. So, and then being involved in their lives, and as the previous comment was, keep them busy, keep the kids busy.
Yeah.
Max was tennis every Saturday, every Sunday, 3 lessons at night. Zoe was, rowing, school play.
But don't
music,
overdo it. I think don't overdo it. I think some people go, okay, there's ballet this day, music, violin, blah, blah, blah. And I think it can be overdone.
Yes, but the kids were totally stimulated.
Yes, but we didn't do like things every single night.
And
I think you can
we weren't standing on the side of the tennis court telling Max to hit another winner and saying,
exactly.
You're not going to be in Wimbledon unless you do this, son. And all it was. He enjoyed tennis, and he was still is a beautiful tennis player. But it's being and then not telling the kids what to do, talking to them. We do.
Max is about to come in the door.
We just talk to our kids. We just talk to our kids.
You'll see Maxie in a minute.
So what's the next question?
The next question is Anna Ponticus, and it is my favourite question for the day. Ta-da!
Here she goes.
I love this one. Maxie's going to come in, so
come on,
Hi, Max.
Who is that?
It's me. Come and say hello on the video. Quickly. Just come and say hello. Come on, I've said it now. I want to see you.
It's wet paint.
I'm talking about teenagers.
Answer the next question. Just answer the next question.
All right.
Quick.
Maxie.
No, don't say it.
Okay. They want to...
He's not a performing seal. Come on, just answer the next question.
You're not the performing seal, Max.
No, go.
Okay. All right. Anna says she wants us to talk about social media and how teens are highly addicted to it these days and strategies...
Not just teens.
No, but you know what? If you're
adults
referring
as well.
to me...
if the cap fits, wear it. I just said not just teens.
Yes.
Way to go.
Here's what I think. I think as an adult, if you have got the time to do it and you want to do it, then do it. As a teenager, when you've got homework and stuff, I think it's tricky. And I also think that all the mums and... Look, any of you who are watching this are going to be into social media because you're clearly watching me on Facebook or YouTube. So it's probably not you that I'm talking to, but there's a lot of people out there who will not do Facebook. And that freaks me out when the parents say, oh no, I'm not on it, oh no. And yet their kids are on it. They're not being aware of what their kids are doing. And what I find is there's a
permanent record on Facebook.
Absolutely. So
you
teenagers out there, I want to say this.
You need to mentor your kids to think about.
I want to tell the teenagers a story.
Think about what it is you're putting on, because you might put it on now and be going for a job in 10 years' time, and your employer pulls up a copy of something off Facebook or language.
He so knows what I'm going to say, so he's trying to say it. Okay, there's someone on Facebook who is a young girl, and I can see the things she writes on Facebook. Okay, so there's this girl on Facebook who I observe, and I see her writing icky things to her friends, or saying, oh, I'm not doing this because or, like statements about her life, and almost a bit yucky. I don't know, there's something about her page that I just can't get into, her attitude and everything. So she'd be like, I don't know, 17 or 18. And when I see her, I think that I am now forming an opinion of her. So when she's 30, my opinion of her is probably still going to be formed from what I'm seeing on there now. I don't know, I really think that's true, and I don't think that kids realise the perceptions they're creating by what they write on their pages. And you don't have to swear, and you don't have to write awful things, or, bully people, or say, oh, I hate this person, or why, I don't know. When you're creating your own persona on there, so make it a good one. You don't want people judging you for all these awful things, and there may be when you can talk to people in real life, you can say, oh, you know what, I meant this by that. But when you're writing it, you should think about what you're writing, because people like me or people who are future employees might go, you know what, I remember her back then and I don't reckon I want her in my working place.
Stop.
Anyway, so as old-fashioned and Dagsville as that may sound to you teenagers out there, it is really important that you are aware of what you're creating, your persona that you are creating on Facebook. If I was a teenager, I would not be photographed with drinks in my hand.
If I was a teenager
or
again,
cigarettes, whatever.
if I was a teenager again, I'd find the smartest person in every area I knew and talk to them and find out exactly what it was they did to maintain themselves. For instance, Tommy Hafey goes to our gym. His physique is unbelievable.
Yeah, we've talked about him
There's no
before.
injuries, and there's another guy there, Eugene, who's 93.
Yeah, who we've talked about.
Still going really well.
Yeah.
Then I talked to someone else that was in the business that I wanted to go in and learn from them. Then I'd go to someone else.
What if they don't know what they want to do?
Well, as they do know what they want to do,
Yeah.
talk to people that can offer advice. And probably the best person that offers advice is the parents, because the kids mimic the parents.
Yeah.
The kids walk the same as you, they talk
Yeah.
the same as you, they'll
Yeah.
react in certain situations. I mean, look, you just don't know how much they copy you, but one was a bit of a funny story. Megan was driving along one day and someone cut her off pretty severely in the car, and Megan's normally pretty conservative. And Megan yelled out...
No, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't yell out. Max did.
Well, who was one of the kids? Megan yelled out at them and used the word...
No, I didn't. The kids yelled it out. That was the whole funny part of the story.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
And
I didn't say it. I tooted the horn and Max yelled that out from the back.
and
I didn't say it.
he could barely talk, but you see, he learned. They learn
Yeah.
these things. And so what... The
Bit of road rage there, I think.
the connection you've got to make is that if teenagers understood how much they can learn from someone who's older than them, then
it's very hard.
how much better off will they be?
Well, we know that. We
In
know
every
that.
aspect of their
I know.
life, in their physical being, in their spiritual being, in their financial being, in their
I don't think that all teenagers are present and conscious in their lives. I don't think they're kind of me and going with emotions at this time of their life. They're not kind of thinking of consequences and being aware, and like I think when you're in your 30s and 40s you get to that point where you start thinking about your life and you know
mortality.
And that we're all connected, and that you can, by helping everyone, we're all connected. I don't know that kids think about that. I'm not saying all kids, but some, the majority of kids I'd say would not.
If it feels good, do it when you're a teenager.
Yeah, I do think so. Anyway, Anna, the other thing is, Zoe said to me at the beginning of the year, before she started year 12, she said, Mum, I think I might be just on Facebook too much, and I'm going to give you my password so that I'll study and you can have it and take me off, and then, put her on when she needed it. I haven't needed to do that because she's actually created her own discipline.
She's focused.
But I do know her password, and should she do that, I could do that. And by the same token, even though I know her password, I totally respect her privacy. I don't go in and read her messages or do any of that stuff.
No, I would never want to.
In fact, I think that having been on Facebook and YouTube and all that for so long, I think the kids understand. I think Zoe's understood what we've taught her about that. That not to put all that awful stuff on.
Well,
in fact, she's always telling me off for tagging her in photos.
What's the point?
Yeah.
If it's not good, don't put it on.
Yeah.
So any other questions?
Seriously, it doesn't matter. I liked that, Anna. Thanks for that one. That was a good one. Hi, Jen. She said, this is a good one. Jen said, I think she may be a bit cotton woolly at the moment, because she said she's got a 17-year-old daughter who wants to go to her after party after the year 11 formal. She attends an all-girls school, and the party's in South Yarra, which is nearby where we live. And
sounds like fun.
She says, now we all know there are a lot of nightclubs in South Yarra. Yes, there are, but you know what? She's 17. What were you doing at 17? I'd finished school at 17. I was at uni at 17.
She's got to try it.
I think you've just got to trust her, and you might want to pick her up from the party and drop her off there, whatever, or tell her to text you and let her know what she's doing during the night. She's got to be constantly you've got to be able to reach her. If you send her a text, she's got to respond.
I saw on the program the other day, when you text the kids and they don't answer.
Oh, this is funny. I like this.
You text one, look, be home from school at 5 o'clock, no answer. We're going to Grandma's for dinner. Can you please make sure that you're home? So we get no answer. So then on the text they put...
No, Paul saw it was about funny texts.
Funny text, yes.
And so they said, we're going to Grandma's for dinner. No answer.
No answer. And there was about 3 texts, there was no answer.
Now, meet us
they were flashing them up on the screen. And so the next text said, and by the way, we're going to buy you a brand new car next month. And the kid texts back straight away and said, really? That's awesome. And then the text went back, no, just checking to see that you were getting my text. And they text back, that's cool.
Yeah. So the kids have to respond to the text, because that is something I don't like, because it's worrying. If you're a parent and you're sending a text to a teenager and they're not responding, you start to panic, don't you?
17, you know what, next year 18 she can get a licence and she can go into a bar and she can drink, because that's 18 here in Australia.
You can also
and drive a car, and away they go.
If you're on a Mac, you can put that mobile me on their phone and you can know exactly where they are.
The cloud.
But it's true. You can. That's how people find their phones when they're lost. So if you want to, and look, people who have nothing to hide nothing. So I'm sure your daughter would be totally willing for you to put her mobile into the computer so you can track where she is.
Any other questions?
So I think let her go. You've got to trust her. You've got to talk to her about alcohol. I'm sure you have. Does she drink already? Has she been to parties? Is there a reason why you don't want her to go?
Let someone buy you drinks. Get your own drinks, because people put Rohypnol and all those date rape drugs in stuff like that.
I don't know if you watched my last week's video or not, but if you didn't, go back and listen to my niece towards the end of the video. It's the video talking about, what were we talking about? You are what you tell, stories you tell yourself. And my niece was saying how her brother went to a party. He's like 24, and he went to a party last week, and the punch was laced with LSD, and everyone was given a pill when they walked in the door. Now, he does not take drugs. He turned around and left, and he's a cool kid. He's a cool little boy.
He was the only one there that didn't take drugs.
That is frightening. And my niece Philly was saying that it's just prevalent. She said most of her friends do that. Now, I find that like shocking.
Well,
it is shocking.
We've got plenty of friends they can go and talk to with actions and consequences, because one of Megan's friends has been on ice, or that their child has been on ice.
Yeah, and that's terrible.
What's the stuff called? It's called meth.
Crystal meth.
Crystal meth.
I don't know what it's called in the States.
It's massively destructive.
Maybe just called crystal meth.
Anyway, we've shown the kids this is what happens when you take crystal meth. So
you absolutely have to be on the ball with it, and you've got to be comfortable, but I would probably let her go, but have some, a time she's got to be in, and know where she is, and she's got to text you, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think, because you can't, she's 17.
Any other questions?
Tracy said, honesty and trust are the keys to my relationship with my 19 and 17-year-old. Same.
100%.
Same as us, exactly.
We'd be devastated if the kids broke the trust.
I would.
Yeah.
I really would. They get a lot of freedom, but in return I trust them to be honest with me and do the right thing.
Perfect.
I agree, Tracy. That's all you can do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is that Tracy from Canada?
No, it's not actually.
Where are you, Tracy, from Canada?
I'll have to show you what she wrote on our video last week. She's funny. She's back. She was missing for a while. Missing in action.
MIA.
Yes. So, anything else? Have you got any other news to tell everybody?
No. I reckon was that it?
That's it. I reckon that's quite a short video. It's so cold, and maybe we'll light an open fire tonight and have a nice takeaway meal or something, and a bottle of wine and I'm still on my sugar free, and Paul is trying to strip.
No, I'm not. I'm only game. Goodbye.
Bye everyone. So this is Saturday video. This is like the little end bit. This is Noah. This is Christine. And this is Nina. Hello. And I've just met Christine for the first time today, but I feel like I know her in this beautiful baby. This is so cute. I'm getting fluffy, everyone. Do you think 45 is too old to have a baby?
Definitely.
That'll do it. While Christine and I are talking babies, these two are over there talking financial things. It's very funny.
And then, so you've got a cash.
We're just enjoying talking babies and fashion and Pilates.
The next one is
That's right.
they've got. It's called desktop.